Hey everybody, Unicronobot here, and welcome to day 2 of Grimlock week. And Lexitron just did G1 Grimlock for you guys, so today I am looking at the Classics Grimlock. Now, this is possibly one of the most controversial Grimlocks I have ever seen. And for a good reason. Either a lot of people love him or a lot of people hate him. There's really no middle, and I feel like I might be that one dude that is in the middle. I really like this dude, but I'm also aware of his flaws. So, that being said, let's just take a look at him and see how cool he is. Now, here we have him in his dino mode, and as you can see, he's a much more updated Tyrannosaurus. Unlike the G1 Grimlock, who basically went by that old 80s idea that Tyrannosaurus Rexes stood upright, this one goes by the more scientific accurate, with them walking at a horizontal way rather than standing upright like people. And this dude looks like a modernized robotic Tyrannosaurus, and I do like that. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's an easy fix. His legs are well articulated, so you could basically just bring down the tail and have him look this way, and then bam, you have him walking upright. It's not that big of an issue. But let's take a look at articulation in this mode. Articulation wise, his head is on this swivel. It goes up, down, it goes all the way up, all the way down. His jaw goes this far down, mostly due to transformation, but still, pretty good range of motion. Both of his arms are on little ball joints. Mine are actually surprisingly tight. His leg is on a swivel, can go all the way around, and then it can go out and down, bends at the knee, and then it can fold right there, mostly for transformation, and his foot is on a swivel. And most of the articulation, surprisingly, is in his tail. It can go here, 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 and here, and vice versa. Really nicely articulated tail, and I actually really like that. But that being said, there are a few problems, and it's mostly due to I don't blame the figure. I'll be honest, I blame the designers. Not the designer, the factories. And you're about to see why when we transform him. Oh, one more surprise. He also comes with the reveal the shield, that little black Autobot symbol where if press your finger on, there's heat, and bam, there's an Autobot sticker. And then he's got his gun. Oddly enough, the missile I feel is actually a little too big for the gun. But it doesn't look too bad. Alright, so let's transform this guy. I find it easiest if you just straight up just remove this and remove the tail, because I feel like it gets in the way a little too much. So start off with that, remove the tail, and then fold this back, and then fold that forward, and you basically get his fist. And I actually really like the transformation for his fist. I think it's really, I don't know why it's so simple, but at the same time, so clever and fun. Alright, then you're just going to bring these down. You're going to basically just bring his mouth all the way up and do that. And then it's also easier if you just do this. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. I'm trying to get these little bits right here. There we go. Ah, dang it. Gee willikers. Alright, so you just lift that up, and then you just unpeg that, and then you split the legs. Bring this back down and close it, and you basically have the legs done. Now you're just going to turn this all the way around, this way at least. Turn this around. And now this is the part where I actually give the transformation a lot of cred. What you have to do for the arms, because as you see they're both going this way, you're basically just going to take this, rotate it around, and there's also nice molded in wiring right there, and then fold it back, turn it around, bring the arm down, and then this arm you're basically doing the reverse. And then you just bring that down, fold this out, and here you have Grimlock in his robot mode. Now again, this is where most of the controversy for this guy really comes from. Specifically in the upper torso. there's nothing really, there's a little peg here, but it doesn't line up properly with the arm, so it can't really go anywhere. Same with this side, there's nothing really keeping it in place, so it's really hard. So for some people it doesn't stay in place. And there was another precaution to keep it in place. There are little grooves here and little slots right here, and this is also meant to lock the shoulders in place so that they don't go wagging everywhere. But for some reason it seems like they actually did it backwards and they don't fit in the right slots. Now normally this would be a big problem, but this is only really a problem if your joints are loose. The joints on my Grimlock are extremely tight, so his arms don't go anywhere. And same with this, these things stay in place. Like, so I really don't worry too much about that. So all I could really say is, as long as you have one that's in good enough condition, this really isn't much of an issue. It's more of a nitpick. And again, I'm not going to hold the toy accountable for this. I'm going to blame the factory that mismanufactured it. Now, accessories, he comes with his Guardian Blaster. And he comes with his tail, because whenever you have something with a beast with a tail, Transformers thinks a whip is necessary. So what you do is you basically just, like I did before, you just fold this down, and then you just put it in his fist. And he has a whip. But I think that looks stupid, so I take it off and I put it on his back. Just right there. And I actually think that looks pretty good, all things considering. And he could actually store both weapons on his back if you really want. But there is one problem about this guy that I feel needs to be addressed, and that is the pegs for his hands. If I remember correctly, all Transformer pegs are, I think, like 4 millimeters wide. This dude is his ports for in his hands are 0.5 millimeter too small. Basically meaning the only weapons he can hold are his own. Any other standard Transformers weapon is too big and he can't hold it. Unless you make a customized weapon, he can only hold the whip and the Guardian Blaster. Which for some is a big problem, but that's not too big of a problem for me. But that being said, let's take a look at the figure's details. This dude is full of nice details. I love the new face, and the light piping on the face is great. Just take a look at that. That is really nice light piping. I love the jewel that's right here. I love that translucent red Cybertronian jewel. I love that. I wish there was more red in the abs to be more G1 accurate, but you get what you get. Another nitpick I gotta say is the dino heels. They're a tad silly. And that's it. Articulation wise, his head is on a swivel, goes side to side. His diaphragm's on a swivel. Arms, same as in dino mode, swivel there, and they can go up, down, bend at the elbow. His legs are on ball joints, they have a good range of motions. Thigh has a swivel, bends at the knee, and he's got foot pivot, but that's mostly due to transformation. Now, I'll be honest, I've been looking at this guy, I will admit, I was possibly one of the biggest skeptics for this Grimlock that you're probably going to ever meet. I was extremely skeptical, and I did not want this guy. But after getting him, my mind has changed. I'm actually quite fond of this figure, and I think he's a really good Grimlock. I know a lot of people complain about him. I know the biggest complaint, though, is when he's in dino mode, and people say that the dino head looks like a Zoid's head. And for those of you, and most of those complainers don't realize, for those of you who don't know, Zoids were manufactured by Takara Tomy. And around the time the Classics line came out, Zoids was a major thing. So, what's Hasbro and Takara going to do if they have a dinosaur? They're going to make it look like a Zoid so that kids would want it. And I know people complain about that, so again, it came out during the time when another product Hasbro and Takara was doing was super successful. So, again, that's not a major issue for me, and it's something that only nitpickers are going to complain about. Articulation on this guy is pretty good. His robot mode is relatively nice. It has a powerful feel of Grimlock. And Dino Mode, again, really nice Grimlock. His transformation, surprisingly, is a reversal of what the G1 Grimlock is. But again, it's not too big of a problem, because it still is a fun transformation. I love the intricacy of how his arms and chest transform. It's a nice figure, but again, a figure that only some will want, because again, his design flaws make him somewhat unsavory to people. So I'm going to leave this up to you. I say he's a yes, but I know there's a few naysayers out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Get ready, because up next is Animated Grimlock.